Welcome to this deep dive.
Hello.
Our mission today, well, it's all about getting a richer understanding of some words you probably hear and use, maybe even every day.
Mhm.
We're going to explore 6 specific words um, by looking at them from tons of different angles, seeing how they pop up in, all sorts of real-world situations.
That's right. Instead of just giving you a definition and maybe a couple of sentences, we're going to really unpack what these words mean in practice.
Okay.
By seeing them used in lots and lots of different contexts, you start to build this intuitive feel for their nuances.
Right. You get the subtleties.
Exactly. And that helps you understand them better and, use them with more confidence.
Exactly. It's about those little aha moments, isn't it? Where you see a word used in a situation you hadn't quite considered before, and it just sort of clicks.
Yeah, clicks into place. We've pulled together a whole collection of examples that really show the surprising range and depth of these words.
Okay, so what do we got?
The words we're putting under the microscope today are breadwinner, cashew, casserole, chop, cinnamon, and colander.
All right, a good mix. Let's jump right in and start with that first one. Breadwinner.
Okay, breadwinner. So essentially, a breadwinner is the person in a household whose income is the primary source of financial support for the family.
Got it.
It's the individual who carries the main financial load, you could say.
And when you look at the examples, you see this role isn't just about earning money. It's really tied up with responsibility, expectation, and sometimes, well, real sacrifice.
Definitely.
Like, think about the immense pressure on someone who is the sole breadwinner for their family. They might be working double shifts week after week just to make sure all the bills are paid.
That pressure is palpable.
Yeah.
We see it in situations where someone's ability to earn is suddenly challenged, like a person who struggled to remain the family's breadwinner after suffering a serious injury.
Oh, wow.
Their physical recovery is directly tied to their role in the household's financial security. It's heavy stuff.
It is. It's also fascinating to see how this role shifts across time and cultures. Historically, that image of the male breadwinner was very traditional, right?
Very much so.
But our examples show how modern families are increasingly sharing financial duties. Or sometimes someone becomes the breadwinner almost unexpectedly.
Right.
Maybe by starting a successful business that just happens to out-earn their partner.
And necessity can definitely create a breadwinner. We've seen examples from, say, historical accounts or even fiction where maybe during wartime, a mother takes on the breadwinner role while her husband is away.
Just out of need.
Simply out of need, yeah.
That emotional weight really stands out in the examples, too. The constant worry about meeting mortgage payments, for instance. It's not just about the transaction itself. It's about the security, the stability of the home resting right on your shoulders.
Or think about the situation where one partner loses a job and the other has to step up as the new breadwinner. Suddenly, yeah, they might have to learn budgeting skills they never really needed before. It forces adaptation and can, well, change the entire dynamic of a relationship.
And consider how the expectation that comes with being the breadwinner can be kind of a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, someone might gain tax benefits by claiming that status, maybe. But it also inherently places this heavy weight of expectation on them from others and often, from themselves.
That brings up interesting generational differences, too. Millennials, for example, often lean away from that single breadwinner model.
Right.
They tend to prefer dual-income households where financial and domestic responsibilities are more equally shared.
It makes sense. And sometimes, a simple promotion can completely change a family's landscape if it elevates one partner to the breadwinner position.
Yeah, improving their quality of life dramatically.
But the examples also show some really intense situations, like eldest children in some immigrant families taking on that breadwinner role at a very young age.
Supporting siblings.
Exactly. Supporting siblings while they're still trying to get their own education. That's a profound level of responsibility for someone so young.
It really is. And sometimes the focus on being the financial provider can overshadow other needs. We saw instances where perhaps pride in being the breadwinner meant someone might overlook the emotional needs of their family.
Because their attention is just so fixed on earning.
Right. Their focus is elsewhere.
But it can also be empowering, surely. Someone starting a successful online business might take on the breadwinner role. And that gives their partner the freedom to pursue, say, further education or a different career path.
Absolutely. The role enables different life choices.
The challenge is particularly stark for single parents, though. A single mother is often simultaneously the caregiver and the breadwinner.
Managing everything.
Managing the emotional, the logistical, and the financial demands of a household all on her own, That's incredibly challenging.
Immensely. And sometimes, ingrained expectations get challenged. We saw an example of someone who held quite traditional views about the male breadwinner. Until his wife's higher salary basically led them to reevaluate their own household roles.
Next, you rethink those traditional ideas about who should be the breadwinner, doesn't it?
Exactly. And during economic downturns, the fragility of this role becomes really clear. Many long-time breadwinners losing their jobs during a recession.
Yeah, that forces families to adapt quickly.
Rapidly find new ways to make ends meet.
It seems the source of income also influences the experience. Like, a self-employed breadwinner might face really unpredictable monthly income,
Right. Feast or famine sometimes.
yet still build significant financial resilience. It's a different kind of stability, maybe built more on adaptability.
That's a good way to put it. And maintaining that status can require extraordinary dedication. Think of someone taking night shifts while also pursuing a degree just to keep their breadwinner status.
Wow.
That shows the level of commitment the role can demand.
So ultimately, being the breadwinner involves this really complex balance between career and family, often leading to significant emotional strain. Looking at all these examples, it reveals that it's a word that encapsulates far more than just who brings in the paycheck.
Absolutely. It's about identity, pressure, sacrifice, and the evolving dynamics of family life. Seeing it in all those varied situations really deepens your understanding.
Okay, let's shift gears to something a little lighter, perhaps, and definitely tastier. Cashew.
Ah, the cashew, yes. It's that distinctive, kidney-shaped nut from the cashew tree,
Right.
known for its rich, buttery flavor.
And useful in so many ways.
It's a fantastic ingredient because it has just so many uses in the kitchen.
I think for many of us, the first thought is just, well, snacking on them.
Sure.
Roasting salted cashews until they're golden brown is such a simple, classic snack, perfect just as they are.
Absolutely. But the real magic, I think, often happens when you harness their texture and their creaminess.
Okay.
One really fascinating use is grinding raw cashews into a paste. We saw an example where someone used this paste to thicken a vegan curry sauce.
Instead of cream.
Exactly, replacing dairy entirely, but still achieving this wonderfully rich texture.
And they add a great textural contrast too, right? Chopping cashews and tossing them into, say, a Thai salad gives you this lovely crunch and that subtle, nutty sweetness against the fresh greens.
That crunch is key sometimes. And their ability to create creamy bases is remarkable. Simmering cashew butter with coconut milk can create a luxuriously smooth soup
Ooh, nice.
with a deep, satisfying flavor profile, and soaking raw cashews overnight. That allows them to blend into incredible creamy concoctions.
Like what?
Well, we saw examples making a silky smoothie that tasted surprisingly like vanilla ice cream, or even creating a rich vegan cheesecake base just from soaked cashews.
Wow, cheesecake. That transition to dairy substitutes is a big one then.
It really is. They can even be pureed with garlic and lemon for a smooth, creamy vegan aioli.
Very versatile.
And moving beyond those creamy uses, they also take on flavors beautifully. Sprinkling spicy chili lime cashews over a rice bowl adds both heat and crunch. And they are fantastic with sweet applications too. Caramelizing cashews and honey and cinnamon for a yogurt topping.
Oh, yeah.
Tossing candied cashews with rosemary and sea salt for a sort of festive treat. Or folding honey-glazed cashews into chocolate bark.
That sounds amazing. They're also a great base for homemade snacks, right? Like granola bars.
Definitely. They hold together really well when sliced, and they pop up in more savory contexts than you might expect sometimes.
Such as?
Chopping smoked cashews into a stir-fry for an unexpected layer of flavor, or even crushing a blend of nutmeg and cinnamon onto roasted pumpkin seeds with cashews mixed in.
Interesting combinations.
Their adaptability means they can substitute for other nuts too. Blending toasted cashews into pesto instead of pine nuts, for instance.
That's a good tip. Usually cheaper too.
It often is, and it offers a nice twist without losing too much of that essential flavor.
Even a simple garnish can elevate a dish, can't it? Like drizzling almond oil and crushed cashews over roasted carrots.
Adds subtle complexity and texture. Yeah, so looking at all these examples, you see how the word cashew isn't just about a nut. It's about this incredibly versatile ingredient.
Right.
It can add crunch, creaminess, richness, unique flavor profiles to a huge range of dishes, both sweet and savory.
It's truly one of the most versatile things in the pantry, I reckon.
I'd agree with that.
Okay, so from single ingredients to a whole meal in one dish, let's talk about casserole.
Ah, casserole. A culinary staple. Essentially, it's a dish where you combine Various ingredients, meat, vegetables, pasta, rice, whatever, and you bake them together in a deep dish.
Right. Often with a topping.
Often with a topping, yeah, like cheese or breadcrumbs or mashed potatoes, makes them a complete, often very comforting meal.
They are the definition of comfort food for so many families, aren't they? A cheesy chicken and rice casserole, layered in a big baking dish.
Classic.
That's a classic example of that warm, filling family meal.
And they're fantastic for transforming leftovers. Using Thanksgiving turkey and stuffing to create a whole new casserole the next day.
Best part of Thanksgiving sometimes.
It makes a second-day feast that's just as exciting. Yeah.
And they make great use of pantry staples, too. Mixing ground beef, sauce, and pasta, then topping it with mozzarella and baking it.
That's a simple, hearty pasta bake.
Which is really just a type of casserole, or the classic tuna noodle casserole.
Oh, yes. Tuna peas, cream of mushroom soup.
A potluck favorite for sure.
Casseroles are incredibly versatile in the ingredients they can incorporate. You can make them really vegetable forward.
How so?
Like assembling a vegetable casserole with zucchini, peppers, onions, maybe topped with panko for crunch. Or healthy versions, like a sweet potato and black bean casserole for a protein-packed vegetarian dinner.
They're not confined to dinner either. Layering potatoes and ham with eggs makes a really hearty breakfast casserole.
Perfect for brunch crowds.
Or adding sausage, cheese, and eggs for another breakfast option. Lots of possibilities there.
The topping is often what defines a casserole's character, I think. Think of a shepherd's casserole topped with creamy mashed potatoes, browned to perfection.
Or a wild rice casserole topped with crushed crackers for a different kind of crunch.
Exactly. And sometimes the line between a casserole and a dip kind of blurs.
Like spinach artichoke dip.
So precisely. Mixing spinach, artichoke, and cheese into a hot-baked dip is essentially making a small casserole meant for dipping. And seafood works beautifully too. Shrimp and cream sauce combine for an elegant seafood casserole.
Sounds good. They are incredibly practical for meal prep and sharing too, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Reheating leftovers in individual ramekins makes for easy single-serve meals.
Smart!
Or freezing half a portion in a casserole-safe container for a busy weeknight. A lifesaver.
Lasagna is basically a type of casserole when you think about it.
It really is. Layers of ingredients baked together in a deep dish. An eggplant, ricotta, and tomato sauce lasagna-style casserole fits perfectly.
And small additions can make a big difference, like adding spicy sausage to a standard macaroni and cheese casserole kicks it up a notch.
Definitely. They even make thoughtful gifts, too. Giving a neighbor a small dish of leftover casserole is such a simple, kind gesture.
It really is. And pro tip, using a non-stick casserole pan can make cleanup so much easier after hosting.
Amen to that. So looking at all these examples, you see that casserole isn't just about one specific recipe. It's really about a method of cooking.
Combining and baking.
Combining diverse ingredients in a dish and baking them.
Yeah.
It signifies comfort, practicality, versatility, and often sharing.
They really are kitchen workhorses.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, a fundamental action in cooking. Chop.
Right, chop. Primarily, it means to cut food into pieces, using repeated downward blows with a knife or some other sharp tool.
Got it.
While it can also be a noun, like a pork chop, in the context of cooking action, we're mostly focused on the verb here, the technique of cutting.
It's often one of the first hands-on skills you learn in the kitchen, isn't it? Using a heavy cleaver to chop onions finely, or teaching someone how to chop vegetables safely with a sharp chef knife and a cutting board.
Foundational culinary actions, yeah. And the desired result dictates the technique. You might roughly chop herbs for a rustic garnish, or you might strive for really uniform pieces when chopping garlic cloves so they cook evenly. The tool matters too. Struggling to chop a thick pork loin might mean you need to switch from a chef's knife to a meat cleaver.
Right. Tool for the job. Practice makes perfect too, especially with tricky ingredients. Learning how to chop tomatoes without just squashing them,
Yes.
or chopping fresh ginger finely without bruising it. These require specific motions and a certain touch.
Definitely. It's a skill that applies to the simplest tasks, like chopping lettuce leaves for a salad, or preparing components for specific dishes, like chopping colorful bell peppers and onions for fajitas.
Different cuisines and how you want it to look can influence how you chop too. Demonstrating how to chop carrots on the bias, for example.
Creates a different, maybe more elegant look than simple rounds, yeah.
And sometimes technology can help out, using a food processor to chop nuts quickly when you need a large quantity,
Saves significant time.
compared to doing it all by hand.
But the manual skill remains vital. Knowing how to chop parsley last to keep its vibrant color bright.
Good tip.
Or the simple realization that you just can't chop a frozen roast. These are basic kitchen realities you learn by doing.
It's a skill that's really valued in professional kitchens for its efficiency and accuracy, right?
Hugely. It significantly reduces meal prep time. Even in a restaurant, you might ask a chef to chop bacon into small bits for your dish.
And using the right technique for different tools is key. Trying to chop cilantro with a mezzaluna requires a totally different motion than with a standard chef's knife.
True. When preparing meat for cooking, you might place the chop, lightly on the board before slicing with precision.
So looking at all these examples, you see that chop is more than just cutting. It's a fundamental skill.
It encompasses technique, tool use, desired texture, efficiency. It's a core action in almost any meal preparation.
From action to aroma, let's move on to cinnamon.
Ah, cinnamon, a beautiful, fragrant spice. Made from the inner bark of certain trees, its warmth and that distinctive sweet, spicy profile make it incredibly versatile. Used widely in baking, cooking, beverages, pretty much everywhere.
We often think of it in sweet contexts first, I suppose. A sprinkle of ground cinnamon on a latte adds that lovely warmth and aroma.
Or dusting snickerdoodle cookies with cinnamon sugar. That's a classic use in baking.
It's essential in comforting dishes, too, like oatmeal with apples and brown sugar.
Oh, yeah. Or mixed into pancake batter for a subtle warmth. And that simple comfort of cinnamon sugar sprinkled on buttered toast. Can't beat it sometimes.
Cinnamon sticks are fantastic for infusing liquids, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Stirring a stick into mulled wine.
Or infusing rice pudding with cinnamon sticks imparts that deep, slow-release flavor.
But it's not just for sweets. Looking at examples from global cuisines reveals some really surprising savory uses,
Like what?
including cinnamon in a Moroccan tagine, for example. Adds that signature warming aroma and complex flavor profile that balances the savory ingredients.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that immediately.
Or adding just a pinch of cinnamon to chili. It introduces this unexpected warm note that complements the other spices.
It can add depth to unexpected places then, like maybe grating fresh ginger and adding cinnamon to carrot soup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It pairs wonderfully with roasted vegetables, too. Dutching roasted butternut squash with cinnamon for a fall-inspired side dish.
Nice. And you can incorporate it into spice rubs for meats, like crushing a cinnamon stick into a rub for grilled pork chops.
Ooh, I like that idea. Even savory snacks can benefit. Sprinkling a blend of nutmeg and cinnamon on roasted pumpkin seeds.
Adds a flavorful touch, yeah. And beyond food, it appears in beverages like hot chocolate, obviously.
Of course.
Or sometimes as an herbal remedy in tea, believed by some to support metabolism. And for vegan drinks, it's pretty essential with coconut milk and cardamom for a fragrant chai latte.
And back to sweets for a second. Think of baking cinnamon rolls. The smell alone.
Oh, yeah. Or mixing cinnamon sugar with melted butter to coat churros. Or dusting it over baked pears for an elegant dessert.
So many uses. Seeing all these examples really demonstrates that cinnamon is a spice with a truly remarkable range.
It really is. Capable of enhancing everything from a simple breakfast to complex savory stews, proving its adaptability far beyond just the dessert plate.
It really does get around. Okay, our final word for this deep dive is colander.
The humble colander. A kitchen essential, though, it's basically a bowl-shaped utensil with holes.
We all know it.
Designed specifically for draining liquids from food. Simple, but incredibly practical.
It's the go-to tool for draining pasta, right? Pouring cooked spaghetti into a large colander in the sink to quickly get rid of the boiling water.
Standard procedure. And it's crucial for cleaning produce. Rinsing harvested spinach to remove grit, or washing strawberries under a gentle spray in a plastic colander.
Allows the water to flow through, takes the dirt with it.
Exactly. Its utility extends to other prep tasks too, like draining canned chickpeas for making hummus or rinsing quinoa thoroughly before cooking to get rid of that bitter coating.
What's interesting is how different types of colanders or, techniques adapt its use. A fine mesh colander is perfect for more delicate tasks.
Like what?
Like draining yogurt to make thick Greek-style yogurt, or lining one with cheesecloth to strain homemade ricotta cheese.
Ah, okay. Clever. It helps with cooling and stopping the cooking process, too. Dumping blanched broccoli into a colander under cold running water preserves its vibrant color.
And lifting a colander of boiled potatoes from the pot allows them to steam dry, which is essential for perfect mashed potatoes, apparently.
It really is. They're also handy for defrosting frozen items quickly under cold water, like frozen peas.
Good tip.
Or simply shaking gently to remove excess liquid from ingredients like sautéed mushrooms before adding them to a dish so it doesn't get watery.
A colander could even save the day sometimes. like draining cooked rice when your rice cooker malfunctions.
Been there. Or quickly pouring off pickle brine through one to season cucumbers for a quick pickle.
And their design helps with kitchen organization. They're often stackable, right? Fitting neatly inside bowls in a cabinet to save space.
Very true. They're essential for prepping ingredients like tofu too, rinsing the cubes before pressing them to remove excess water.
Okay. And ensuring even draining for delicate items like cooked gnocchi so they don't clump together.
Innovation even touches the humble colander. We saw examples like foldable silicone colanders that attach directly onto a pot.
Oh, handy for hands-free draining.
Exactly. So the colander might seem simple, but looking at all these uses really shows its essential, varied role,
In everything from washing and draining to straining and even organizing.
proving its indispensable place in the kitchen. Absolutely. Its basic function is just critical to countless cooking tasks.
Well, we've taken a deep dive into 6 fascinating words today. Breadwinner, cashew, casserole, chop, cinnamon, and colander.
And by exploring dozens of different real-world examples for each, hopefully, you've gained a much richer, more nuanced understanding of what these words truly mean and just how versatile their usage can be.
Getting that feel for them.
Yeah, it's about building that confidence to understand them in context and, well, use them yourself.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
So as you move through your day, maybe start listening for these words. Notice how they pop up in different conversations or recipes or things you read, and maybe even try incorporating them into your own vocabulary or your kitchen adventures, thinking about some of the examples we've discussed.
Pay attention to those subtle variations in context. That's where the deeper learning really happens, I think.
Great point. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.